Welcome to LYL Beautiful, which stands for
Live Your Life Beautiful. I am Candace.
And I am April. We're so happy that you all are here with us today as we go into a different subject. We went into meditation. We went into a video on what LYL Beautiful is about. Now we're going to go into a very, very good subject.
The subject is how to allow love to free you.
So I'm going to ask Candace to say that again because I think just that alone is very, very powerful.
How to allow love to free you, to open you, to make you better, to create a loving environment around yourself, that happy bubble, to always be in positivity and love.
Okay, so now we said the first way one way of how, and these are just some ways, okay? One way how to allow love to set you free is to let love be unconditional. Now, second way that we have of how to allow love to set you free
is feel free to express yourself, okay? Say what you feel, say what you mean. Don't hold it back, just express it. And go ahead.
Because when you worry about what others are going to think, when you worry about what others may think, if you say this and say that, now I have a habit of doing that. I'm sure Candace does too.
Oh, yeah.
We hold back, and that's why it says here again, feel free to express. You gotta feel that freedom. Again, this is the only way, one way to allow love to set you free is you gotta have that freedom to be able to express.
To talk.
Yes. To talk, and this is part of the communication. I'm not talking about on texting. We're not talking about texting.
No, what's going on with texting? No, talk. Pick up a phone and call somebody.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have the opportunity to be person to person.
Yes.
You know, Candace and I do that with each other all the time in terms of us and expressing how we feel about certain things. We're able to do that with each other. I can listen to her, she can listen to me, and we can freely listen to each other as we freely express to one another.
And it leads us to number 3. Unlearn what you've learned before. How can I explain this one?
So we're gonna have Candace say that again because y'all need to really take this in what we're saying here. Take this in.
Forget about everything you've learned before. Unlearn what you've learned before and set yourself up to learn something new. That's what's wrong. What it is to allow yourself to love people without any conditions.
Because a lot of times we put conditions, we put limitations. And like Candace mentioned, as far as when you've had these experiences in the past that kind of holds you down and holds you and traps you and keeps you from loving the way you feel you should be loved, loving the way you feel you should love, right? So a lot of those limitations and conditions we pretty much put on ourselves, and then it reflects back onto others when we're trying to connect with others, when we're trying to build that loving relationship with others. And we're not just talking about just relationship in terms of romantic. It can be as far as with a friend, with family, with coworkers. There's so many different variations out there in terms of that. And these limitations, they come from our own personal experiences, right? And so that's what entraps us. That's what keeps us held in from actually loving the way we really want to be loved and loving the way that we want to love others. Because at the end of the day, y'all, we want to love.
Yes, and a lot of it is because we really don't know how to love from what we've experienced before. We have to teach ourselves how to do it from the experiences, the good and the bad ones. Yeah, and also we have to know what love means and what it actually means to us, because I feel like we have a label on it based off what other people tell us, but we have to actually know what it means for us. And for you, it could be a completely different meaning than it is for me or April. And also, I feel when you choose to love someone, when you say the words, I love you, let it be that and let it be unconditional. Don't change it because of what they've done to you or what they said about you. I think that's the most complicated thing, which I'm still learning from myself. To not be angry or to not let your emotions take over you and you to forget what love is freedom. You can't hate or dislike someone just because they did something to you. You have to master the art of just loving people anyway and loving them from where they are now. Still, no matter what they do to you, say about you, act towards you, it has to be the same. It has to be unconditional. So that's hard to do.
Yeah. So when we talk about how to allow love to set you free, let love be unconditional. And what does that mean for you as far as, so let love be unconditional? This is how you allow love to set you free. Let love be unconditional.
You have to have compassion for people. That's the key. You have to have compassion. You have to tell yourself, okay, well, they're in a different level of their life and I'm at a different level, so I have to just respect them for where they're at and just try to just be at peace with where they're at, no matter what they do or say or whatever that may disturb my peace. You can't let that disturb your peace. You have to keep your peace and still love them regardless anyway, and that's what unconditional love means, just to love people without any conditions or anything, just even if they are not nice to you, or if they tell you that, oh, I don't love you, still love them, still have the positive energy and light towards them, even when you don't see them, even when you're thinking about them at night and you have a negative thought go through your head. Try not to do that. It's very easy for that to happen, but you have to train yourself to always be in a peaceful and loving state no matter what. That's a challenge, and that's what unconditional love means to me. To love without any conditions.
So that's one way to allow love to set you free, is what Candace just said, as far as love without condition. Let love be unconditional. But here's the key thing. You have to let it be. If you don't let it be, then now you're still putting that condition on it. That has to be something that you personally decide for yourself. Okay, I'm going to allow this to be unconditional. And you have to literally put it out there and let it be unconditional. Okay? So that's one way. We're going to go into the second way to allow love to set you free.
And it's okay to take a moment, and to say, hey, I can't talk about this right now. People are even afraid to do that because they feel like, oh, if I take a moment and to really think about it, then this other person will think I'm upset, and then forget about the other person. Worry about yourself, and then hopefully the person you're dealing with or whoever you need to have this conversation with, I'm not sure what it would be about, but just how to express yourself. You have to think about yourself. If you're not ready to talk, you're not ready to talk. And try to not communicate through text messages. I keep trying to tell people these things because it doesn't work. I don't know why we've gotten to this place in 2019 where everyone's texting everyone about their deep feelings. It doesn't come out the same way if you're just going to call them or talk to them in person. Like, I don't like the text messages personally.
We have so many emotions that go on when we have so much love that's, right all in here, all up in us. Absolutely. And where there is so much love, there's so much emotion, so many emotions, is because, there's pain, there's hurt, there's joy, there's peace, there's release. There's all these different emotions that go on inside of us, and it can be overwhelming. However, it can also be a beautiful experience. It depends on how we choose to take those emotions, how we choose to embrace them in our loving relationships. We have to receive that. We first have to admit that to ourselves, that this is what's happening. This is how we're trapping ourselves and self-sabotaging ourselves when it comes to love. So we need to take those experiences, reflect on them, embrace them, say, this is what happened in these experiences. This is what happened to us. This is how love negatively impacts us. You have to look at the negative impact and what effect it has and has had on you from previous experiences and even from your current experience. And we take that and we just make up our own assumptions, and then we create this story of what would happen from the unknown, where it's just like, well, what if this happens? What if my heart gets broken? You know, it's and then we try to figure out, okay, well, what's going to be in this unknown, when the truth of the matter is that you
Don't know.
and you don't know. The only thing you can do is just take that risk, step out there, that fear of the unknown, and let it be whatever it's going to be. Affirm that you're going to be okay regardless, because you are love. We are love. And that's part of that whole allowing, allowing love.
Yeah, to allow love to free you.
Yes, allowing love to free you, because otherwise you're still in that bondage, because you want to stay safe. And what you think is just safe. What you think is safe may not necessarily be the best thing, because it may not necessarily be safe.
And I think a lot of people, when you think of love, you think about relationships, and oh, I love him. Let me have a teddy bear, flowers, and candy and roses. It's really not only about that. It's to be kind to other people, to actually put yourself in other people's shoes before you judge them, to have compassion, to just be kind. I mean, that's love. Yes. To me.
Accept people where they're at. Don't take it on to say, okay, well, this person why are they so, this way? It's so hurtful and it's so mean, and I'm just throwing out examples. But you really just need to accept that. Accept the fact that that's not something that you can change. Accept the fact that, you know what, I'm going to love this person anyway, because again, we are love, no matter the character, the makeup of the person, the ideals, the beliefs of that person. We still want to love that person anyway. This is how you allow love to set you free, by not, again, holding in and holding yourself back from what can give you that freedom. And what gives you that freedom is you just sitting up here and we say, so for example, if I say to Candace, you know what, this person really hurt my feelings. I'm so hurt, but you know what, I've learned from it. And I don't hate that person. I love that person. That person has given me more to think about. I've learned so much more from that. And now I feel that love is liberated me.
That's what's wrong with people. We're so stuck in our ways, we don't want to change. I'm very stubborn. I'm working on that.
Me too.
Very.
And that that last one is a work in progress. We have to constantly unlearn what we have learned from our past experiences. Candace already touched on it. I touched on it earlier in this video when we talk about those past experiences and how it impacts us negatively, positively. You got to unlearn what you have learned. You have to relearn a new pattern, especially if you're going to allow love to set you free. This is a process. It's a process that does not happen overnight, especially because we're all so different in our personalities. You really have to unlearn what you have learned. And when Candace and I are saying as far as unlearn what you have learned, those things that have put conditions on you and you're conditioned to doing. So if you're used to not getting, so for example, I did not receive the love from my father that I so desperately wanted. And so because of that, I would just hold in all this love that I just wanted to just let explode, because I never got it from my dad. And guess what? He more than likely didn't get it from his dad.
Yeah.
And so we do this whole generational pattern that I call a generational curse.
Yeah.
Because this is what we learn. This is what we get conditioned to. So that's why we have to make sure that we unlearn those bad habits that we have learned from the past, that we may have learned, what's been going on just recently in our lives. You have to unlearn it. How do you do that? You retrain your mind. You reprogram your mind. You tell yourself, you know what? I felt this before in my past experience, but that's not how I want to feel, because it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good to hold back on all this love that I have that wants to explode.
You have to feel free to express, which I'm still learning myself. So it's like old habits I have to also unlearn and break the generational curse, because I'm sure my parents never talked to their parents, and who knows what happened. So hopefully with my 2 children I have now, they will feel free to talk to me, to express to me. And how do I do that? Is to tell them that it's safe to talk to me.
Yes.
My parents never told me that. Ever. I didn't know if I could talk to them or not, actually.
Yes. So we break the pattern.
Yeah.
We break that pattern that we're so conditioned to, so used to in terms of that. That's one way to unlearn what you've learned. You break that pattern, you break the habit. It's all on us, and it's all a choice that we have the freedom to decide. We have the freedom to decide what's going to happen from here on out. We can say no more. But that goes from deciding and making the decision to unlearn what we have learned. Okay, so Candace is going to repeat the 3 ways on how to allow love to set you free, and I feel like we're gonna have more to say on this, because this is just part 1. So we're gonna go into a second part, but I wanted to just get this going to get you guys to really think as you get started on this new journey of allowing love to set you free. So 3 ways again on how to allow love to set you free.
Number 1, let love be unconditional. Number 2, feel free to express yourself. Number 3, unlearn what you've learned before.
Yes. And dear ones, we love you guys. That's why we're doing this video. We are just putting it out there, putting it out into the universe, sharing our hearts with yours so that you can really take this in, soak it all in, and allow love to set you free, man. It's not easy, but guess what? It's possible. So long as you allow it. All right? Yes. We will see you next time for the next part on this whole love series and allowing love to set you free. Until next time, light and a bunch of smiles. Mwah. See you all next time.